How this billionaire couple stole California's water supply. The classroom featuring SecondThought. You guys recommended it? Let's watch it.
While 40 million Californians suffer through unprecedented drought, one billionaire couple owns a massive share of the state's water system.
Actually,
seized in a series.
Is that parts of the reason so much water was gone during the fire? Like, I think you guys mentioned, like, some of the water was privated.
Series of secretive meetings 2 decades ago. That system was largely paid for by the very taxpayers whose water these billionaires hold hostage.
What? The fact that you can privately own water is so insane to me. This is the reason? Capitalism, baby! America!
Urban water systems are desperate for water, but in 2023, they'll receive just 5% of what they requested from the state. The Resnicks are the biggest farmers in California. As of 2007, they owned 4 San Francisco.
Okay, they're farmers, so are they at least using the water for farming? Or are they just like sitting on it like, we own the water, peasants? Like, what?
Worth of farmland. And nearly half of Americans buy at least one of their products. Their pistachios, their pomegranate juice, their mandarins, their flowers. It's all under one massive umbrella, the Wonderful Company, a privately owned company worth at least $5 billion. The majority owners, the Resnicks, are worth at least $8 billion. How were they able to
8 billion. That worth 8 billion. Isn't that how many humans we have right now? Like, how many humans are there right now on the Earth-ish? 8 billion?
About 8 billion.
Yeah. They have as much water as there's... No, they are as much worth as there are humans.
to take over such a large percentage of what should be a shared public resource. This is The Classroom from More Perfect Union, and today we're looking at how the Resnicks got rich. Linda is a former child actress.
I don't know if this is like confirmation bias, but she does look like she owns a lot of water. Like, she does look like she's filthy rich, you know?
The daughter of Jack Harris, a successful movie distributor of the 1950s, most well known for The Blob.
Starring Steve McQueen and a cast of exciting young people.
At 19, she founded her own advertising agency. Stewart was born to a middle-class New Jersey family and started his first business, a janitorial service, in grad school.
Is it wrong to say Thanos was right? No! Thanos was right! Absolutely!
He eventually acquired American Protection Services, a burglar alarm and security company. Linda approached him about marketing services for the company, and they hit it off, not knowing that one day they'd work together to take over California's water. The Lovebirds became business partners. They bought Teleflora, the flower delivery company.
And like, if the water is just like lying somewhere, couldn't the firefighters like still use it? Like, there's like helicopters that, you know, that go just like fishing out water from places. Like, what?
Not allowed to.
My head hurts from this.
And the Franklin Mint, purveyors of inane little tchotchkes. Linda was the marketing person, and Stewart was in charge of business. As Linda told the LA Times in 1993, "I've always said that Stewart and I together make one perfect person, like little salt and pepper shakers." In the late 80s, they found their primary industry, agriculture. They got into the pistachio business. Linda said, "We've done more for the pistachio than anyone ever since it was planted in the Garden of Eden."
Are they the reason pistachios are so expensive? I hate them. I love pistachios, and pistachios are hella expensive. Fuck them.
My husband should be canonized for all the work he's done. They started branching into other products. Almonds, pomegranates, citrus, wine, and acquiring more and more land to cover it, including some very important land in Kern County, which granted them water rights in the area. As the Resnicks were building their...
That might be the reason you have them at all? Oh, really? Well, that changes it then, I guess.
Their empire, the state of California was building new water infrastructure with taxpayer money. California's natural water supply is very inconsistent. Vastly differing amounts of rainfall means the state can go from surplus to drought and back very easily. So they build water banks to store water during surpluses to have during droughts.
Sure.
One important storage facility is the KoAlan Water Bank, started in 1988. The facility was built with hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars, which could have been a good thing. The people of California would have owned the water.
Yeah.
But there were two Californians thirstier than the rest, and they
How
wanted
did they
more
get
water. Linda and Stuart Resnick, and they had a lot of political power. We'll get to that. In 1994, state water officials, water infrastructure contractors, and agricultural landowners with water rights arranged a secretive meeting at a resort in Monterey Bay, California. These groups, a mix of private companies and public agencies, rewrote California's water rules without any input from voters, taxpayers, or legislators.
Wait. Secretive meeting changed the laws without anyone knowing? Is that legal? Like, huh?
The new rules, called the Monterey Plus Agreement or the Monterey Amendments, were devastating for working Californians, and great for agriculture billionaires. The original code included urban preference, a long-standing rule that in times of drought, the state water board would give urban areas, where people live,
How did they get away with this?
access to water supplies before agricultural interests. Monterey axed that. That means that in times of drought, the water systems for normal Californians would have to buy water from private companies because
POS. Pure POS. Oh my god. How disgusting. How scummy. Oh my god.
they weren't getting it from the state. The new agreement also loosened regulations on paper water. That's water that doesn't necessarily exist anywhere but on paper. The full quantities of water that providers could have, but don't actually need to have.
Paper water. Water that doesn't necessarily exist anywhere but on paper. The full quantities of water that providers could have but don't actually need to have. Wait, so does the water exist or not? What? Well, whenever the water was out west gets started, at least the lynch mobs will know whose head are for the spikes first. Oh god, yeah. God. Yeah, jeez. Yes and no exists as a trading feature similar to stocks. So it literally just exists on paper. Just like, oh yeah, it exists, but only like, you don't actually need to know that it doesn't. So they pretend it exists. Like NFTs.
Today, 5 times as much water has been promised and sold as actually exists. And importantly,
classic YouTuber moment. Pause right before the answer. Classic YouTuber.
the meeting changed ownership of the KoAlan Water Bank. What once belonged to the state was transferred to a few private water contractors, one of which was Westside Mutual, a wholly owned subsidiary of Wonderful Foods. The wonderful employee who runs Westside, Bill Phillimore, is the chairman of the public organization that manages the KoAlan Water Bank. Boom. One secret meeting, and the Resnicks owned nearly 60% of an important California water resource, built with hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money. The new ownership, combined with the rules on paper and surplus water, meant that during times of
How did the government just let them get away with this? Like, does the government benefit from this? Do they get, like, more tax money because of that? Like, Jesus Christ. No? It's just corruption? So the government doesn't benefit from this at all. It just happened. Individuals benefit from this. Yeah, like the Resnicks, or what their names.
drought, the Resnicks could sell KoAlan water back to the state water systems. They took Californian taxpayers' water and sold it back to them, both literally as the water supply and also to grow expensive food like gourmet pistachios and pomegranate juice. They converted the people's water into products many can't afford. And that's just one water bank. The Resnicks also have control of other water boards and have been sued for directing more water towards their properties.
So this video was from like a year ago? 2 years ago, actually. And I feel like the views of this one have gotten up quite big recently. As of the past week, I feel like. I hope karma bites them in the ass.
So how do they get away with this Chinatown-level chicanery?
Gonna be a lot of irate citizens when they find out that they're paying for water that they're not gonna get.
With philanthropy. The Resnicks donate millions of dollars to politicians and research institutions, which help them secure control over water systems, and even get more water and more taxpayer funding. One important project is the proposed California.
The taxpayers fund it, and they just get private water out of it, and no one can afford it really. And California burned down. No one had water, they couldn't put it out. The government was more concerned with like ruining the ground instead of people's lives, as in why they refused to take seawater. Like, yes, it would have ruined the ground, but it might have also saved people and not destroyed their fucking homes. Like, Jesus Christ. The rich get richer, the poorer die. The poorer, man, I said that really weirdly. The poor die. Oh my god.
Delta Tunnel, a taxpayer-funded project which would send water from Northern California to Central, where the Resnicks farms are. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on state and federal legislation.
Yeah, and your husband should have been in that situation. It's bad that he got himself into a fire. Yeah, a lot of people on that video, in the comments on that video that I uploaded, did say that California got to them what they voted for. And I guess that's true. But it's not like 100% of the people. They're still like innocent children and like whatnot, right? Like they haven't voted for anyone and they still lost shit. It's just dumb.
And politicians who support the tunnel project. But their favorite politician is Senator Dianne Feinstein.
You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway.
Chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee. She's a close personal friend of the Resnicks.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Close personal friend in the government. Or in politics. There it is.
Attending their holiday parties in Aspen and maintaining their financial interests. A quick look through the bills she sponsored shows several which would direct money to Kern-adjacent water projects. The Resnicks even ask her for things directly. When a pesky study about endangering salmon and shad fisheries threatened the Delta Tunnel, Stewart wrote a letter to Feinstein demanding a new study. She immediately forwarded it to the Obama administration.
So there was a study, and because she didn't like the result of it, she demanded a new study? This is comically bad. Like, you can't make this up. What? How insane do you have to be?
Who agreed to spend $750,000 on a new study.
Why? No way! He actually agreed to do a new study. Thanks, Obama.
It returned the same results as the first one.
Wow, would you look at that? But we did get it. Okay, so what's her next move, Chad? What do you think her next move is? Deny it? Deny science? Say they faked the results?
Can't buy science. But the Resnicks have tried. They are among the top donors to the University of California system.
No fucking way! No way! No! Oh Lord! Oh my god! Evil. Those folk are evil.
with their donations focusing on agricultural and ecological studies. The Resnicks have basically bought entire departments who put out studies on how water systems should be managed.
It's getting worse and worse. It's getting worse and worse. I can't take this. Like, this is like a freaking cartoon. Holy shit!
And where funding should go. That leads to even more federal and state taxpayer dollars being used to fix up what the Resnicks profit off of. This is all bad for California, even in a capitalistic sense. Agriculture uses 80% of California's water, but only represents 2% of its GDP. The Resnicks' water monopoly is just one way their quest for wealth hurts the rest of us. They allegedly lobby for increased tensions with Iran to keep embargoes on superior Iranian pistachios. Their giant crops lead to monocultures which kill important pollinators.
No way. And we need the bees to survive. No way. This is so bad. And this video came out 2 years ago. Chat, this video came out 2 years ago. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm just... Let's hope there won't be a Luigi. Oh god. I heard recently on, I think Asmund said it. I think Asmund did say that the people like Luigi need to stop like going like what's the word, like they need to stop going all out and instead apply to become politicians, you know, like instead of like shootings and shit, they just need to become the politicians if they want to change. Like, literally though, actually. Because there's enough people that think the same way as us, right? Like, Luigi, if he even was the one that did it, right? If he even was that one. I don't disagree with him. Healthcare CEOs are messed up. They are. I don't disagree with him at all. Right?
They siphon taxpayer dollars into the company town charter schools they own, set up to train children to work for their farms. And of course, like any company of this size, they exploit their workers. We need to treat water for what it is, a necessary public resource, a human right, and something that shouldn't be owned by anyone, and work towards legislative change that stops people like the Resnicks from stealing it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be covering the stories of other billionaires and multimillionaires to examine the policy failures that made them rich, as well as the worker-empowering stories and explainers you're used to.
This is so messed up. I'll play the TTS as an exception, but keep in mind TTS are disabled during reacts now. If Brian even wants to say it, because Brian doesn't even want to say it half of the time. Yeah, Brian doesn't even want to say it. Like, I pressed replay, it says replay, it doesn't play it. Let me read it out. Day after day, the corporate dystopia of the cyberpunk genre becomes more relatable and real in my opinion. Until someday, there's no more government, only gigacorps that make the rules. World wars are fought between corps for land and resources to max out profits. And for us as regular people, sorry, you have no platinum insurance package, so we can't treat your injury. But we got 10% off for your first body cremation this month. Interested? Yeah, it does feel like, unfortunately, we are slowly but surely heading that way, doesn't it? That will be all. That will be all. Thanks for watching, YouTubes.